In the land of Canaan, 5 kings of the Amorites, Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, feared Israel's growing power. Enraged by Gibeon's alliance with Joshua, they formed a coalition to destroy the city. Gibeon, overwhelmed, sent messengers to Joshua, the current leader of Israel, at Gilgal, pleading for help. Without hesitation, Joshua and his warriors prepared for battle. Trusting God's promise of victory, they marched through the night, ready to face their greatest challenge yet. At dawn, Joshua's forces struck the Amorites with fierce determination. Chaos erupted in the enemy ranks as Israel's sudden assault overwhelmed them. The 5 kings' armies, unprepared, faltered under the relentless attack. As panic spread, the enemy fled toward the hills. God was with Israel, and their strength did not waver. Joshua pursued them, determined to finish the battle. Yet, the greatest miracles were yet to come. As the enemy scattered, a mighty storm gathered above them. Without warning, enormous hailstones rained down, striking the Amorite soldiers but sparing the Israelites. Cries of terror filled the air as nature itself fought for Joshua. More men fell to the storm than to Israel's swords. Joshua, witnessing God's power firsthand, knew that victory was near. Yet, the day was fading, and the battle was not yet won. He turned his eyes to the heavens and called upon the Lord for an even greater miracle. With unwavering faith, Joshua lifted his voice, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon. Moon, over the valley of Ajalon." Miraculously, the sun and moon halted in the sky, giving Israel the time they needed to complete their victory. The battle raged on under an unmoving sun, and the Amorites, powerless against Israel's might, were utterly defeated. Never before had God answered a man's request in such a way. The people of Israel stood in awe, knowing their God was unmatched in power and faithfulness. Terrified, the 5 Amorite kings abandoned their armies and fled. They sought refuge in a cave at Makkedah, hoping to escape Joshua's wrath. But word reached the Israelite leader, and he ordered the cave sealed with stones while the battle continued. Joshua's forces pressed forward, striking down the remaining Amorite soldiers. The land trembled beneath Israel's advance, and victory was within their grasp. With the enemy crushed, Joshua returned to the sealed cave. The stones were rolled away, revealing the cowering kings within. They were dragged before the Israelite warriors, their once mighty power reduced to nothing. Joshua called his commanders forward, commanding them to place their feet on the necks of the defeated kings. It was a sign of God's promise fulfilled. No enemy could stand before Israel with the Lord on their side. Joshua raised his sword, declaring God's justice upon the wicked rulers. One by one, the 5 kings were executed, their bodies displayed until sunset as a warning to Israel's enemies. At evening, they were buried in the same cave they had hidden in, sealing their fate forever. Fear spread across Canaan, for all knew that Israel's God was unstoppable. But Joshua and his men did not rest, there was still land to conquer. With renewed strength, Israel marched forward. One by one, the cities of Makkedah, Libnah, Lachish, Eglon, Hebron, and Debir fell. No army could stand against them, for God had delivered them into Joshua's hands. The people of the land trembled, knowing the power of the God of Israel. As the dust of battle settled, Israel claimed dominion over the southern lands, securing their place in the promised land. With every victory, Joshua's faith in God grew stronger. The Israelites, once wanderers, now saw the promise of Abraham being fulfilled before their eyes. Their enemies lay defeated, their land now a home for God's chosen people. But Joshua knew their journey was not yet complete. The land was vast, and more battles lay ahead. Yet, with God leading them, they feared nothing. As the sun set over the conquered lands, Joshua gathered his people. "The Lord has fought for us," he declared, his voice ringing with certainty. Israel had seen miracles, divine power, and unshakable promises fulfilled. Though challenges remained, their faith was steadfast. With the southern lands under their control, they turned their eyes north, ready to continue their divine mission. The land of Canaan would belong to Israel, just as God had declared, and no force could stand against them.